Algoritors. I miss you guys, you ladies and gentlemen. I miss you guys. Can you believe that? Let's see who's joining us tonight. All right, let's see. Brandy, the Emergent Esquire, welcome. Venetia Phillips, welcome. JP Mills, always good to see that name. SL, always good to see you too. Colette Davis, welcome back, Colette. Deliria Washington, welcome. Lee Leo, welcome. Idota. I'm gonna get it right one day. Essie Stone, welcome. Sandra McGee, all right. Charlene Lambert, I know that name, welcome back. Rukia. Please throw down in the chat how you say that. Is it Rukia? Rukia Shaw. Welcome back. Offer Sing. Sorry I missed you singing in DC. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, AJ Early. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, RQ Butterfly. Welcome. And Brenda O. Welcome. Tonight, Target receipts, concert chaos, and Graceland secrets. Tonight, the gavel is heavy, and so are the headlines. But this is the part I don't like. A young woman with special needs spends 50 days behind bars over $145. Is this justice, or is this system just criminal itself? NBA YoungBoy's concert turns into chaos with a minor assaulting an elderly man. Is the culture out of control, or is the system failing our youth? Priscilla Presley drops bombshells in her memoir. Elvis allegedly suggested she abort their daughter, Lisa Marie, while juggling all of his mistresses. Do we rewrite legacies when truth finally surfaces? And last but not least, Kelly Wolf, from MTV's Real World to Real Courtrooms, facing harassment charges while checking into rehab during her messy divorce from actor Scott Wolf. Is this accountability, addiction, or both? All right, we're not just sipping tea tonight. We're cross-examining culture. And court is about to be in session. But first, let me introduce our lawyers. We have attorney Ashley Carter, Shatan Turner, Sean Carter, and Jason Weiss. All welcome back to Celebrity Court. Excellent. All right, Bayla, please unmute your. Thank you very much. All right, before we get started, can everyone please do me a favor? Please hit that like button. Also, please hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit the share button and invite some friends over to enjoy this show. Also, don't forget to turn on your notifications. And last but not least, like you know, we love you jumping down into the comments because you are the jury and you are the ones that make the decision. The court is now in session. First up, Amira Aaliyah Bryan. Yes, sweet sounding young lady, is 26, a woman with special needs, was jailed for 50 days in Orlando after allegedly stealing $145 worth of merchandise from Target. First of all, you're not supposed to be in Target, but I'll come back to that. She was held pre-trial, charged fees for her public defender and investigation costs. And it's raising outrage that the system punished her beyond reason. Somebody please mute yourself. We can hear you. All right. First up, I want to go to you, Shatan Turner, Attorney Turner. Should vulnerable individuals like her who have documented, somebody needs to mute themselves, with documented special needs ever be jailed pre-trial for petty theft?
I mean, it's a lot to unpack, but the fundamental question is, under what terms is someone competent to stand trial for their supposed misdeeds? That's the question here, and that's why I think the internet was outraged by what happened. She had a documented history of intellectual disability, which meant that the court should have done more, in my opinion, than having a judge who has no training in assessing whether or not somebody's competent to determine whether or not she was competent. The questions that he asked are the standard questions that you would ask anyone, were you coerced and all those sorts of things. But here's the thing: if someone cannot understand questions, then their answers don't mean anything. It's the same as if she was a native foreign language speaker and they were like, well, were you coerced, you or whatever. You're like, no, yes. He didn't have any assurances that she actually knew what was going on. And so that's the problem here.
Okay, we're going to take a look at this, Bailiff. Before you show it, I want to get to Danielle Cameron because I felt the same way. Danielle Cameron said, as a mother of an autistic child, this is a huge fear. Prison isn't a place for mental illness or disabilities. I agree. And what it felt like to me, Danielle, I don't know about you, I wouldn't even want my child in that courtroom because I didn't feel like, not was it the public defendant didn't seem to understand. The judge didn't exercise any compassion. I can't wait to come to you, Attorney Carter, because I know that you have autistic kids. But before we get into that conversation, let's throw to the bailiff and show us Aaliyah in court.
Okay, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Hi, Judge. My name is Amara Leah Bryan.
Okay, hi. You're here for initial appearance. You had a failure to appear for a petty theft. Your bond is currently set at $500.
There was an offer made to Ms. Bryan of an adjudication credit cost investigation to OPD in the amount of $339.70, and there's a no return to target at 4650 Millennia Plaza Way.
She would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay, Ms. Bryan, did she swear in already? Can you raise?
Solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes. Oh, yes, Judge.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, I've been handed a plea form with your name on it. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, it is. I signed it just now.
Okay, did anyone force, threaten, or coerce you into signing the plea form?
No.
Okay, and so you understand by signing this, you'd be giving up your right to go to trial and to contest the charges in this case?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And I have to tell you, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you could be deported based upon this plea. I tell everybody that. Are you aware of that?
Oh, but I am.
That's great.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And you're thinking clearly today? You understand what we're doing here?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Great. I'll find that you are alert and intelligent and represented by counsel. I'll accept your plea of no contest to the charge of petty theft. I'll sentence you to credit for time served. You have 1 day.
It's 50.
I'm sorry, 50. You have 50 days time served. I'll adjudicate you guilty. You'll also have to pay a cost of investigation of $339.70 to Orlando Police Department. You're not to return to the target at 4650 Millennia Plaza Way. Okay. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence in this case. The appeal must be in writing. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, one will be appointed for you.
And Your Honor, in her case, I would just ask that her court costs be reduced to a civil judgment.
Okay. I'll reduce your court costs and fines to a civil judgment. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I want to go to you, Attorney Carter. Oh, no, is there more? Oh, my goodness. This is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking to me. I mean, this is absolutely heartbreaking to me. Okay, bailiff, is that it? I want to go to you, Attorney Carter. First of all, there's so many moving parts to this. Like, what did you feel when you were watching how the judge's question was making her feel? Like, I got anxiety watching her try to answer those questions. Like, I as a father of autistic kids and also a officer of the court, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, because one side, this is how you make a living. Other side, you raising those kids.
I had to practice my response a lot. I really wanted to make sure I was, careful, didn't get disbarred. Personally, all right, I have two adult autistic children. I think now we're calling them Tylenol Americans. And here's the bottom line is that neither one of my sons are even as capable as this young woman. Neither can speak, neither have any concept of what money is. So if they were arrested for shoplifting, and that can happen anytime we go to the store, they're grabbing stuff because they don't know what money is. Okay.
Right.
You know, we always have to check and make sure, because here's the thing about it. What should have happened is when they got called out, the officer should have talked to her, had this understanding, and said, okay, we'll put the stuff back. This person does not know they're committing a crime. Let's take them to somewhere to be with someone who can, you know, care and watch for them, which is, you know, maybe they left the group home or whatever. But the officer says, okay, forget it. I'm just going to arrest because that's what we do. We come out here. We don't think I don't have the highest IQ. That's how they let me on the force anyway. Fine. You go into jail. Now the prosecutor has to bring a charge. The prosecutor brings a charge and says, okay, this is, you know, a misdemeanor crime. Now, at the very least, it seems to me that, you know, at this point, hopefully the public defender's there and the public defender say, hey, look, my person does not have the capacity to commit this crime. Because here's the problem we have here. Even the judge, when the judge does this, now the reason she pleads guilty is because she wants to get out of jail. And she's going to be in jail for the trial, so she's not going to want to do that. They're allowing her to go home on time served. So she admits to this crime. She has that strike on her record now. She owes him like $340, which I don't know where she's going to get from. She didn't have the $500 for bail or the $140 for the stuff, okay? And then the judge could have said, the judge had this power to say, wait a minute, the prosecutor, this person does not have the mental capacity to form the mens rea, the mental intent to commit a crime, and therefore she's going home and you, prosecutor, are going to jail. Because your ass should have known better. At the very least, I'm referring you to the bar, but the judge didn't do that at all. She just sort of says, hey, we'll just process this as if it was me committing that crime. Okay? And this is the problem we have. We see this all the time in our system where you have people who are innocent but actually plead guilty because it's easier to get out if you plead guilty than if you plead not guilty because you already have time served. And so now you just build this prison to pipeline or this, you know, school to pipeline prison with people who never committed any serious crimes. But what were you going to do? Does that young woman should stay in jail another 6 months trying to wait for a trial in Florida? And by the way, I don't know if you understand this, but people, I think we all do. Someone said in the comments, all right? The scariest place in the world for me is prison. What do you think it is for someone with special needs?
Exactly. Who, I mean, what? That's a whole nother concept of trying to process in your brain that scares me. Jason, let's go to you really quickly. This is the underbelly. This is the ugly part, and it has so many elements to it. To me, I'm just speaking to me. It has race, it has poverty, it has disability, and it seems like to me the legal system. This is a miscarriage to me. This is a miscarriage of justice for that young lady. And why are we so quick? We can't. Diddy is about to get out for all that he has done. He's about to get out and serve maybe a year. This young lady is serving 2 months for stealing $145, and she doesn't have the mental capacity to know what she's doing. What is going on in our legal system? And what in the hell is going on with the public defendant? Why didn't she say anything that Sean Carter just shared with us to protect her client? Or is her caseload too heavy that she can't care?
Well, the caseload being too heavy and not care, then she should go get another job, first and foremost, right? You have multiple clients and they all deserve great representation. And if you can't afford that to them, then you need to step down. They were joking in the courtroom. And I don't know if you picked up, but on that video, the judge said 1 day that time was served. And then when they corrected her at 50, you could hear the judge pause. So this poor young lady was being held for 50 days, had no clue what was going on, probably shouldn't have even been held for 1 day. Yes, she did something wrong. Yes, she could get arrested. Yes, she should go ahead and be released and wait sentencing, and yes, get some sort of punishment so that you know right is from wrong. But 50 days, and now she has a civil judgment for $300 and whatever against her. I mean, All I know is we are going to be hearing probably Mr. Crump's name, and I said Crump very, very, very soon. And if he needs local representation in the state of Florida, I am here, I am licensed, and I am ready to help.
All right, Ashley, let's round this off with you. Tell me, is this a violation of the Eighth Amendment's prohibition against excessive bail and punishment?
I don't know about excessive bail and punishment. I think it's going more back to what Shaitan was saying. Should she have been charged in this type of court in the first place? I think that the fact that they didn't establish her competency before even moving forward, like the fact that they skipped over that step in its entirety, like it's just astonishing. So, I mean, time served, yeah, she's already served the 50 days, but it's heartbreaking that she even had to serve 50 days. And the bail doesn't matter anymore, to be honest with you, because she's already pled guilty. She's already done the 50 days. And so the only thing relevant moving forward is what she'll have to pay in that civil judgment.
And one thing I wanted to point out too, Your Honor, in addition to what Attorney Carter just said, is
can we get Attorney Turner on the main screen?
We can't gloss over what you were talking about, which is the juxtaposition between what's happening to Diddy and what's happening to this young woman.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is money. Nobody fought for her. That public defender stood up there, was smiling, and gave her a hug, and didn't bring up any of the issues that we're bringing up now. Now, granted, to Attorney Sean Carter's point, getting her out was the objective, but she could have said some stuff on the record just to let them know that I see you and this is wrong and this was a travesty and a miscarriage of justice, but none of those words were articulated. I think she was going to take her out for like tea or something afterwards, but she didn't need tea. She needed justice.
Right. As a parent, how does this make you feel?
Heartbreaking. As a parent and a disability advocate, this is very troubling. As people have highlighted in the chat and as we've talked about on the show, when you combine race with disability, especially intellectual disability, things happen. And when we were going through the Black Lives Matter movement, one of the things that was underreported were a lot of the victims had intellectual disability. They died, right? And so there really needs to be a revolution in the justice system to protect people like Attorney Carter's sons and other people in similar circumstances, because as this case reveals, the court system does not always protect them.
Yeah, this is really just very disappointing. Let's go to the algoriters. Algoriters, as the jury here, did the system criminalize disability in this case? Let me ask you again. Did the system criminalize disability in this case? Throw yes down in the chat if this was exploitation. Throw no down in the chat if you think theft is theft. Let me ask you again, to all our algoriters who are the jury here in Celebrity Court, did the system criminalize disability in this case? Throw yes down in the chat, this was exploitation, or no, theft is theft. 50 days in jail for $145, but we spend millions of dollars to prosecute even our president and get no days in jail. Really makes me look side-eye at the justice system sometimes. But hey, this is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. From Target receipts to concert chaos, let's talk about NBA YoungBoy's Kansas City show, where the music stopped and the fists flew. At an NBA YoungBoy concert in Kansas City, a minor assaulted an elderly staff worker. 2 people were hospitalized. Social media lit up with footage from multiple angles, and the T-Mobile Center's safety protocols are now under fire. Bailiff, take it away.
employee at the T-Mobile Center is recovering after police say he was dragged into a crowd and beaten. Thank you for joining us at 6. I'm Lauren Magarino.
And I'm Zach Summers. It happened last night at the NBA Young Boy concert. The incident captured by multiple people and is now circulating on social media. KCTV5's Allie Espinosa joins us live outside of the T-Mobile Center.
And Allie, you talked with staff about this. What are they saying?
Well, staff here at the T-Mobile Center say they're disgusted by this incident. It all happened here last night and captured on cell phone video. But we do want to warn you, some of what we're about to show you is disturbing.
Okay, bailiff. All right. Y'all just trying to get my blood pressure up. Y'all are trying to intentionally get my blood pressure up. And the thing here is he's underage. That's number one. Number two, what happened in society when we see a young person attacking an elderly person and you sit back and watch that unravel? You watch that. You just watch that whole thing. Where are we as a society? We have cell phones, so it's more, you are more interested in catching a viral moment to get virality than you are to stop someone from beating, literally just beating the heck out of an elderly person. Sean Carter, let's go to you. Somebody needs to explain to me. In this case, only person that I see that could be held liable, and tell me if this is true, should the venues be held civilly liable for injuries or what? What's going on here?
Well, and possibly. So the security is responsible for, the venue is responsible for the security, not NBA young boy. And unless he had incited somebody and said, hey, go beat up an old white man, he's good. Okay. The guy, in my understanding, works for the venue. And so part of, I imagine, your job, particularly if you have a job that's in all involved security, is you're probably going to get punched in the face from time to time when NBA young boy comes to town. All right. That's probably part of the job. This is a situation where the only person who's really responsible is that boy's daddy. All right. Because I don't know about you, but I know if that video is showing up now, I'm 58. My 78-year-old daddy would have risen from the grave and got his belt and whooped me just for not respecting my elders. And the fact that this boy has no respect for his elders, all right, it says something about his daddy, if he got one.
Okay, let's go to you, Attorney Weiss. Tell me, what are your thoughts on him being a minor and what type of actions would be taken?
So as the old white guy on the show, I look, he is a minor, but look, we've talked about it in shows before. They have the opportunity to charge somebody for something as horrific as that as an adult. Now, the early reports coming out say they went to the hospital, no serious injuries, nothing like that. He is definitely going to be probably charged as a minor, would be my guess. But there will be, and I don't know civilly what'll happen, right? They could sue him civilly, but if he and his family don't have that type of money, what good is that going to do? And, this gentleman who was beaten up was an employee doing his job and, probably some sort of workers' comp, and that's as far as it's going to go. And I'm not an employment lawyer. I will defer to the employment lawyers on the panel, but that's probably as far as it's going to go. Are they going to charge him as a minor? My gut says yes, because the injuries were not that substantial.
Got it. Attorney Turner, what are your thoughts on this? Shatan Turner.
I agree with Attorney Weiss. The fact, so you do have the young person fighting the old person, and the old person's job was to serve and protect, right? So the notion that somehow he was frail or needed some sort of special attention is gonna fall flat in the legal system. I imagine the kid is gonna say that he said something to him or he pushed him. There's something on the video that's not apparent, and that's what motivated him to do it. It's not going to cure the criminal charges, but it'll at least put it into context. And the narrative of this young kid was beating up this old guy, I think isn't one that's gonna fly when it gets presented.
Okay, I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna go. Hold on, one second.
I just want to fill in the facts there. Okay.
Once I just hold that thought 1 second. I got two things, and then we'll come back to you, Jason. I'm going to come to you, Ashley Carter, in a second. Sean Carter, I love what Brenda O said here because we talked about this on the show before, and I think you are the one that mentioned it. Brenda O said, "Can he sue the parents?" Didn't we have a case where a kid did something, and because they weren't of age, they sued the parent? Was that you, Shaitan, or was that Attorney Carter? I think we covered this. Can the parents be sued for their child's behavior because he's a minor?
We covered it. There was a couple in Georgia whose kid took their gun, I believe, and shot some people, and the parents got sued for the misdeeds of their son. That was a few months ago.
And so, it was
but
their
in this case, is that not possible? Oh my God!
The nexus between the parents' actions, whatever they were, and this are attenuated. In that case, there were claims.
Oh, that parent gave that child a gun. I remember that. Okay, Ashley Carter.
I just wanted to clarify the facts. He was asked, and security was called to remove this young man from his seat because he was causing a disturbance. And then when they went over there to remove this young man, that's when he became violent.
Oh my gosh. Ashley, let's go to you. First of all, I think there was a see what happens when you're old, guy. I can't be judged. I'll forget what I was going to say. I wanted to ask you, Ashley, this is where I was going with this. Being an entertainment attorney, right? You sometimes have to negotiate these contracts, right? For either the talent or the record label. And we understand that NBA Youngboy had a venue canceled, which for him is $300,000, if not more, canceled because of this behavior. How do you protect your client in these types of situations from having that type of thing happen, like cancel, venues cancel, or can venues cancel at their leisure because they think it's a security hazard?
I'm sure there's a clause, a cancellation clause, and it's probably they list a variety of reasons, right? When they can cancel versus when NBA Youngboy can cancel. So I'm sure it fit nicely into one of those clauses. But the bigger thing here is I actually think NBA Youngboy probably was okay with it being canceled, because you have to remember he's on probation. He's on thin ice. I don't think he wants anything even somewhat close to violence being near him, because he doesn't want anything that's going to connect it back to him. And then immediately, you could get you could get a probation violation for jaywalking. Probation violations aren't really difficult. And in the cases of Black celebrities, especially young Black celebrities that agree to these probation terms, you really are walking on thin ice until your probation is over. And so I think it was probably good that the next concert was canceled. I think things need to simmer down. I think it's also a sign to his fans. If you guys are going to act up, there will be no concert. And so I don't know if NBA Youngboy has come out with a statement, but if I was actually his attorney, I would even tell him to come out with a statement telling him to encourage his fans not to act that way. Otherwise, there won't be any concerts moving forward.
Got it. All right, let's go to Just V in the chat. Said, I'll show up to litigation in a neck brace, 2-leg cast, and an iPad.
And don't forget bringing the service dog too.
Ain't nobody messing with you today, Ms. V. All right, let's go to our jury, which are our algoriters. Who should be held accountable for violence at concerts then? All right, let's go to our jury. Who should be held accountable for violence at concerts? The fans, personally responsible, or the venue, because their job is supposed to be providing safety? Let me repeat the question one more time. Who should be held accountable for violence at concerts? The fans, for personal responsibility, or the venue? Drop down in the chat. When your concert needs more lawyers than security guards, you're not on tour, you're on trial. From concert chaos to Graceland Ghost, Priscilla Presley is rewriting Elvis' story. and this one hits hard. Oh my goodness. In her memoir, Softly As I Leave You, Priscilla Presley claims Elvis suggested that she had an abortion when pregnant with Lisa Marie. She also reveals discovering his infidelities and enduring power imbalances in their marriage. Okay, when did that become illegal? All right, let's go to our resident divorcee herself, Shatan Turner.
We got to come up with a new title for me. That's not going to be my moniker forever. But yes,
I know it's just, but for right now. Okay, Shatan, memoir revelations decades later reshape how we legally and culturally view icons like Elvis, or should y'all just leave the man alone and let it be?
I think it does influence how we view icons culturally, absolutely, which is why she won't stop talking about it. I think she's had at least 2 other husbands since Elvis, right? And yet she keeps going back to this story. It is the gift that keeps on giving and lining her pockets, okay? No judgment, not for nothing. If the one I'm trying to divorce now, if he had story that could tell, I'd be telling it too and writing books. But the problem is nobody wants to read about that. But this is interesting because Elvis and Priscilla are often touted as one of the great love stories of all time.
Right.
There's this idyllic picture. And in all candor, she was a child when he met her. And so that's one of the things I think that gets the story to be open to more scrutiny in modern days is back in the 60s, when she was 14 years old and she met somebody who was in the Army and they quote unquote fell in love. And then she moved to the States with him. And then he sent her to high school so she could graduate. I mean, if that happened nowadays, that wouldn't be viewed as love. It'd be viewed as pedophilia. And so part of what she's saying is that now that I'm aware and I'm kind of out of it, I'm telling my story so that people know how women can be taken advantage of. And he always said he loved Lisa Marie, so it's interesting that he wanted her aborted.
It's given, and I hate to say this, and I don't mean to marginalize or diminish women and how they feel and what you just said, but it's given, I need money tea. That's what it's given to me, because she keeps talking about this man, and it's like she's holding more and more and more and more and more to make more and more and more money. Okay, let's go to you, Sean Carter. This is my question for the Lisa Marie's estate. Could Lisa Marie's estate have standing to challenge or protect Elvis' legacy against claims of this nature?
I imagine, isn't she? Well, maybe she isn't. I guess they could, and you're right. There's an argument that that she's diminishing the brand, right?
Defamation.
But here's the thing about it: defamation only really applies to people. No, I should say corporations. Corporations is a different type of thing, but you could defame an entity. For Elvis, I got to tell you, I forgot all about Elvis. This is the best thing ever happened to Elvis. All right. And I got to tell you something else. And I want the algorithms to weigh in here because I don't get this. And I've been fortunate. All right. I've been married to one woman my whole adult life. We have 4 kids. We planned them all out. At the time I told her, I knocked your ass up, baby. I mean, I planned them all out. But if I didn't, a man not even able to ask, do you want to keep it? Because it seemed to me that I probably would have done it if I was Elvis. I'm curious about this. Is it the case that men never ask? Because I would imagine in half these situations, if I was Rocky, I'd be asking Rihanna every week.
I mean, Attorney Carter, anybody can ask whatever they want. The insulting part here is that by this point, they were married. She said she got pregnant on her wedding night, right? Yeah. She was planning to, travel the world and rock it and be his hot new wife. And the next thing she knows, she's throwing up in the bathroom and she can't party. And so, but still, they were married.
But he kept partying.
And she asked him, she said to him, I am pregnant. What should we do? And his response was, it is your decision, and I will support whatever you want. This is what she said. He told me he'd support whatever I wanted. So I don't understand. She got pregnant. They're married. And he didn't say, I don't want the baby. He said, I'll support whatever you want.
So where did we get this concept that he said that he should
no idea.
He should abort her?
I'm reading the quotes that she said. For weeks, Elvis and I worried in silence. At my lowest point, I even wondered how I'd feel. So guilty that I was even having these thoughts. That's what she said. She said neither of them were ready for this child. He told me he'd support whatever I wanted. His words were a wake-up call.
So here's the reason she's saying that he wanted an abortion. And let's be clear, unless you have been a pregnant person, right, with a man, then I think you can't appreciate it. But if you tell somebody you're pregnant and they don't say, I'm so happy, or wow, or something like that, if they say, I will support whatever you want to do, that sounds like that is a personal problem. Yeah. And I hope you make a different choice than have the baby. Come on.
Okay, resident divorcee. You're on one today.
I'm just saying.
Okay, does exposing personal trauma?
Attorney Carter said when he got his wife pregnant, he was cheering, talking about, I knocked you up. That's also okay. But I will support whatever you want to do. You can keep that.
So I guess I've asked this question. I'll ask again. Does exposing personal trauma in memoirs serve truth or defame the dead who can't respond? I think the part that I don't like is that he can't respond. He can't respond because he's unalive. That's the part
To all the men or individuals who their partner gets pregnant, and just be excited for whatever it is. Yes, I'm so excited. And if they say no, I don't. That's not the path I want to go. Say I'll support you.
Right. It's just like when they ask you, "How do I look?" Absolutely
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the algoriters. Algoriters got a question for you. Should Elvis' legacy be reconsidered after these revelations? Or do we even care about what's going on in Elvis' world anymore? Let me ask it again. Algoriters, should Elvis' legacy be reconsidered after these revelations drop? Yes. Truth matters more than myth. Or no, the music is separate from the man. Ooh, that was shady. Ooh, from the king of rock to the king of control, Priscilla just reminded us crowns don't cover character. That's not nice. All right, from Graceland secrets to real world scandals, Kelly Wolf is back in the headlines, but this time it's not reality TV. It's actually a real court. Kelly Wolf, MTV's Real World New Orleans alum, is facing 3 misdemeanor charges, harassment and exposing personal info, tied to her divorce from Scott Wolf. Amid restraining orders and protective orders, Kelly has entered into rehab. All right, let's go to you, Sean Carter. How do restraining orders and protective orders intersect when you have rehabilitation and custody law?
All right. So what we're having here is that we have a situation where she's going through this divorce. There is a gag order because the judge says, I want you to stop putting the kids all up in the middle of social media. Then there's a protective order because she's been harassing him, trying to get her girls to call him. She put his phone number out on the gram and said, call him. He got 900 calls. All right. And then in the midst of all those two things, she also does this, he keeps harassing them online. And that in Utah and a few other states is a crime, right? If you're trying to harass people, get your friends to call them, right? Dox them. You actually can go to jail for that. It's a misdemeanor, and she's white. She's pretty. She's fine. She gonna get a high five. But the judge in her divorce is not gonna be so high five about it. And I'm not sure if Utah, takes these things into consideration. It definitely takes consideration for custody, and she better get good at writing because she's gonna be writing a lot of postcards to those kids.
That's crazy. Attorney Ashley Carter, is New Orleans the one that Coroma was on? That Real World?
I think it's the same one. I think so. Not just off the top of my head.
I can't. Was he? Let's ask our algorithms. Was he on Philadelphia or was he on New Orleans? I can't remember. It was one of the two. I want to think. But anyway, I wanted to ask you this, Ashley. In celebrity divorces, should courts handle addiction-related cases differently for the sake of the children?
I don't know so much differently. I guess you're more or less asking, is it like a mitigating factor what they'll look at? I mean, they're going to want, when it comes to custody, the best interest of the child is the standard, as Shatan typically talks about when we talk about family law cases. I also did family law for a little bit. So if the standard is best interest of the child and you're doing things, it kind of reminds me of even Haley Bailey and
DDG
or DVD as they call him. They had to remove all of their posting of their child, Halo, online. It was getting to the point where they felt like it was just overkill. So they actually told both parents, neither one of you can now post Halo online. And until further notice, no posting of the child. No one else can post him either. So this case, it's not exactly like that case, but in the sense that it's sad when courts have to come in and tell you that you can't do basic things. Like you can't post your child online. You can't talk, to your partner a certain way. Like, you're not allowed to text them X amount of times or call them a certain amount of times. When people have to put controls on how you're texting and calling and how you're posting, that means your case is pretty bad. Like it's pretty bad when you have a court order telling you that. Even Tayana Taylor and Iman, they have also a gag order on what they can post about their kids in their divorce case. I think we talked a couple of weeks ago that she ended up revealing something online, going on a rant, and she had to pay, I think, $70,000 or $80,000, which I think she gladly paid because at that point she just had enough and she was upset with him. But all of these cases have a common thread. The parents are not able to co-parent, and so the courts truly do have to step in and literally create orders to manage their behavior. And as it relates to her and her addiction or mental health, she doesn't get it together. Yeah, she's not going to be able to see the kids. She's going to have to be writing those postcards like the other Attorney Carter said.
All right, Brenda O says, Attorney Carter, clean your glasses. Blonde don't make you. You are so crazy, Attorney Carter. You really need it. You're on mute.
I gotta respond to blonde don't make you cute. It don't make you cute, but it don't make you ugly either. All right, she's cute. She already cute. All right, goddamn, she could be cute.
I wanted to ask you, Attorney Carter, really quickly. It sounds like to me, because she's been so dramatic in this whole divorce thing. It sounds like this rehab thing is what a lot of celebrities do. I think it's a legal strategy. What are your thoughts on this particular case?
It often is. And here's the weird part. I took a look at this. I don't think she's going to drug or alcohol rehab. She says, no. I'm just going to crazy rehab. They had a 1050 or 941, 842 hike, the thing where they lock you up for 72 hours. And she says, I have post-traumatic stress disorder. And you know what? That's probably true. Because you know who else has post-traumatic stress disorder? Every damn body who ever lived. All right. And we all got something that was been stressful. And so this is something that celebrities do. As soon as you get in trouble, you done something stupid, and everybody know now you going, tell me about the time in 6th grade, you didn't get picked for dodgeball. I think it's a ploy.
Well, to Attorney Carter's point about her being blonde and cute and using it as a ploy, interestingly enough, the opposing side wanted her to have to attest about what kind of program she was going to, and she wasn't required to do that. And so that gives her lots of flexibility about what that might look like. I think it looks like a spa, right? I think
right. One of those high end.
And
all right, let's go to the algorithms.
Though, Your Honor, is we need the court to step into marriages and to dictate behavior, because that's the whole problem. We got her getting judged, right? It's Attorney Ashley Carter, and putting all these rules on how she can communicate with her family. And perhaps if courts intervene in marriages before people broke up, people might exercise better behavior.
Yes, that's
should,
why you are our resident divorce.
We just need to send her to Orlando and get that public defender and that judge on her case.
Oh,
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Fine. That's so true. Let's go to the algoriters. Algoriters is who are our jury. Is Kelly Wolf's rehab a genuine step towards healing? Or what do you think? Is it a legal strategy? I really want to know in public opinion, what do y'all think? Is this because the rehab is not even a real rehab? Like, come on, lady. But she's pretty, she's blonde. She's probably going to get a very rich man after this. So let's go to the algorithms one more time. Is Kelly Wolf's rehab a genuine step towards healing or a legal strategy? Drop down in the chat. Healing, people need grace, or strategy, courts like optics. Drop down in the chat. Kelly went from real world to a real mess, but sometimes the hardest rehab isn't from substances. It's from toxic relationships. All right, everybody, this is a part of the show that we go into the verdict segment where we decide if they're guilty or not guilty. And first up, the Florida special needs lady. Is she guilty or not guilty of the system criminalizing disability? Attorney Sean Carter, what say you?
Yeah, she's a victim of the system, and sadly, it's rampant. Special needs people get it worse, but even people who don't have special needs still have to plead guilty to crimes they didn't commit just to get out early.
Oh, so sad. Attorney Turner?
Agree completely. The system is guilty. She's a victim.
Right. Attorney Weiss?
I'm going to echo exactly what they said, and that we need to do better as a legal community and society to make sure things like this don't happen.
Right. Attorney Ashley Carter?
Yep, the system is guilty. She's the victim.
Right. I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court. We're going to find the system guilty. We're going to find the public defender guilty. We're going to find the judge guilty. We're going to find the cops who arrest her guilty. We're going to find them all guilty, guilty, guilty. Where is your compassion? Where is your compassion? Oh, my God, that just made my skin just crawl. All right, next up, NBA YoungBoy concert. Guilty or not guilty of holding artists accountable for fan violence? Oh, this is an interesting one. Guilty or not guilty? Ashley Carter, you're our attorney, entertainment attorney.
I'm going to give it not guilty because he didn't edge the audience on to do that. If he did any edging, I would have said guilty. So not guilty this time around.
Attorney Turner?
I agree with Attorney Carter. This is not like he wasn't singing "Throw Them Bows" or anything like that. That was getting people all riled up. Those people just acted a fool on their own.
Own cognizance. Okay, Attorney Weiss, what say you?
I'm going to go ahead and agree with both the attorneys that were before me. He had nothing to do with it, and this is just some moron 15-year-old.
All right, Attorney Carter.
I'm a hold both his parents guilty, all right, for not raising that boy better, and the whole audience guilty for going to some fool who just mumble. If you ain't gonna say nothing, don't go to the concert.
All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court. And listen, we're gonna find NBA YoungBoy in this case not guilty, but you know who we are gonna find guilty? We're gonna find that young man guilty for anger management, not knowing how to process his feelings. We're going to find the people watching and who didn't step in guilty. And we're going to find his parents guilty for teaching his kid that it's best to resort to violence and beating up elderly people than to process it better. That doesn't make any sense. Throw the book at that young man. I don't care if he's underage. I don't want him to go, I don't want anything too bad to happen to him, but that's just not right. All right, Priscilla Presley memoir. Guilty or not guilty of reshaping Elvis's legacy? Let's go to our entertainment attorney. Ashley, what say you?
She's definitely guilty of trying to reshape it. She needs to
swear, yes. Attorney Weiss, this is one of your idols? I had to get it in tonight, Weiss.
I'll take it. She is guilty of trying to tarnish one of my idol's reputation. There you go, Your Honor.
Attorney Carter.
I think she's not guilty because that's the best I ever felt about Elvis. He was getting all kind of side stuff, and I thought I only saw the fat Elvis in the big suit. So I'm happy to proud for player Elvis. Go ahead, Elvis. Do you?
Attorney Turner.
I think she's guilty of being the ultimate pimp and stretching a story beyond which anybody
Right.
would care about on its own. You got to remember, she is one of the most successful business people in the entertainment industry of all time because he died broke, as someone put in chat, and she created Graceland and his legacy into a profitable industry. So she's guilty of being, sly like a fox.
Right. All right. I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court. We're going to find her guilty of pimping Elvis' name forever. Even when she got married, she kept that name. I always thought that was very, very interesting. All right, everybody. Tonight, we saw 4 worlds collide. We saw a system that punishes the vulnerable, a concert that turned into combat, a queen who exposed the king, and a reality star fighting her own reality. But here's the legal question. Do we hold people accountable by law or by legacy? Is justice blind or does fame always tip the scales as well as richness? All right, this is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. I'm your Judge Al Reynolds. Court is now adjourned. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good night.